There is a pain that cuts deeper than betrayal from strangers. It is the pain of being wounded by your own blood. The people who watched you grow up, the people who knew your struggles, the people who saw your tears before the world ever did. And somehow, when you reached your lowest point, instead of helping you stand, they pushed you further down. This video is for the people who were mocked while struggling, ignored while drowning, compared, insulted, humiliated, and emotionally abandoned by the very family that was supposed to protect them. This is not just a story about money. It is about power, pride, jealousy, control, emotional cruelty, and the silent war that happens inside families when one person becomes the target of everyone else's frustration. Some families do not heal wounds. Some families create them. The loneliest pain comes from home. The world always says, family is everything. But nobody talks about the families that destroy someone slowly. Nobody talks about the child who grows up hearing insults disguised as jokes. Nobody talks about the relative who only appears to criticize. Nobody talks about the emotional scars caused by constant comparison and humiliation. Sometimes the most painful house is the one you grew up in. You can survive heartbreak. You can survive rejection. You can survive strangers hating you. But when your own family gangs up on you during your weakest moment, something inside you changes forever. You begin questioning your worth. You begin wondering, am I really the problem? That is what emotional manipulation does. It slowly convinces you that your pain is invalid. And the worst part, families who hurt you often pretend they are innocent. They will insult you, then call you too sensitive. They will embarrass you, then say they were just joking. They will abandon you, then act confused when you become distant. Toxic families do not always scream. Sometimes they smile while destroying your confidence quietly. Why some families change after getting money. Money reveals character. It does not create it. Some people become kinder after becoming successful. Others become cruel because they finally feel powerful. When certain family members suddenly gain wealth, they sometimes begin treating people differently, especially the family member who is struggling. Why? Because insecurity loves comparison. People who are deeply insecure often need someone beneath them to feel important. And sadly, sometimes that person becomes you. They begin measuring human value through money. If you have less, they think they are better. If you struggle, they feel superior. If you fail, they secretly feel satisfied. This is not love. This is ego disguised as family concern. They may say, "We're only telling you the truth." But the truth spoken without compassion becomes emotional violence. Some wealthy family members forget where they came from. They forget the days when they also struggled. They forget who helped them. They forget humility. And suddenly, kindness disappears. The same people who once cried beside you now look at you with judgment. Success without humility creates arrogance. And arrogance inside a family becomes poison. The family scapegoat. Almost every toxic family has one person blamed for everything. The scapegoat, the one who is criticized more, excluded more, judged more harshly, misunderstood constantly. The scapegoat becomes the emotional punching bag of the family. And once a family chooses that role for someone, everything you do becomes wrong. If you stay quiet, you are rude. If you defend yourself, you are disrespectful. If you succeed, they become jealous. If you fail, they mock you. You can never win, because the problem was never really you. The problem is that toxic groups often need one person to carry everyone's negativity, and families are no exception. Sometimes they gang up on you because it keeps them united. Hurting one person becomes their way of avoiding their own problems, so they laugh together at your mistakes. They gossip about you. They make you feel small, not because you are weak, but because they fear what happens if they stop targeting you. Why they hurt you at your lowest. Healthy people help others heal. Broken people attack weakness. When you are already struggling emotionally, financially, or mentally, toxic people often become even crueler. Why? Because vulnerability attracts control. Some people feel powerful when someone else is down. Your weakness makes them feel stronger. Your silence makes them bolder. Your pain becomes entertainment for them. And family members know exactly where to hurt you, because they know your history, your insecurities, your fears, your failures. That is why family betrayal hurts differently. It is personal. The saddest part is this. Sometimes they do not even realize how deeply they damaged you. To them, it was normal. But emotional wounds do not disappear just because others minimize them. A person can survive poverty and still heal, but constant humiliation from family can destroy someone's spirit slowly for years. The silent competition inside families. Many families secretly compete with each other, not openly, silently. Who is richer? Who is more successful? Whose children are better? Who has the nicer house? Who looks more accomplished? And when one person struggles, toxic relatives sometimes use that struggle to feel superior. Instead of helping, they compare. Comparison kills genuine love. Because once relationships become competitions, compassion disappears. Some families only celebrate you when your success benefits their image. But the moment you become vulnerable, their support vanishes. That is not unconditional love. That is conditional acceptance. Real family supports you even when you have nothing left to offer. Emotional bullying disguised as concern. Toxic families rarely admit cruelty directly. Instead, they hide behind phrases like, "We're just helping you. We're only being honest. You need to hear the truth. We're family, don't be dramatic." But constant criticism is not guidance. Humiliation is not advice. Public embarrassment is not love. Some relatives enjoy making someone feel inferior while pretending they care. And because they are family, society expects you to tolerate it. People say, just respect them, but respect should never require self-destruction. You are not required to accept emotional abuse simply because it comes from relatives. The damage they never see. People underestimate emotional wounds because they are invisible. But words can stay in someone's mind for years, especially words spoken by family. A stranger insulting you hurts for a moment, but family insults become inner voices. You'll never succeed. You're embarrassing. You're lazy. You're useless. Over time, those words become chains inside your mind. You begin doubting yourself before even trying. That is how emotional abuse works. It destroys confidence quietly, and many victims blame themselves because the abuse was not physical. But emotional pain is real. Some people smile outside while collapsing internally every night. Why you became quiet? People often ask wounded individuals, "Why are you so distant now?" But they never ask what caused the silence. Some people become quiet because they were constantly judged. Some stop sharing because their vulnerability was mocked. Some avoid family gatherings because every visit feels emotionally unsafe. Silence is often self-protection, not attitude. When someone spends years being attacked, their nervous system eventually learns. Speaking up is dangerous, so they stay quiet, withdraw emotionally, avoid conflict, disappear slowly. Not because they hate people, but because they are tired of being hurt. Healing without their apology. One of the hardest truths in life is this. Some people will never admit what they did to you, not because you imagined it, but because accountability threatens their ego. You may never receive the apology you deserve, and waiting forever for validation can imprison your healing. Healing begins when you stop needing toxic people to finally understand your pain. You already survived it. That survival itself is proof. You do not need their permission to heal. Becoming strong without becoming bitter. Pain changes people. The challenge is choosing what kind of person you become afterward. You can become cruel because you were hurt, or you can become wise because you survived. Some of the kindest people in the world are people who suffered deeply and decided, "I will never make others feel the pain I felt." Your suffering does not have to become your identity forever. You are more than the way they treated you, more than their insults, more than their judgment, more than their rejection. Your worth was never determined by their ability to love you correctly. The day you finally stop explaining yourself, one day, something changes. You stop begging people to understand your pain. You stop proving your worth to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. And for the first time in years, you breathe peacefully. Not because life became perfect, but because you finally realized their cruelty was never a reflection of your value. It was a reflection of their character. Some people gain money and lose their humanity. Some people gain power and lose compassion. Some people build success while destroying relationships. But none of that defines you, because surviving emotional storms without Becoming heartless is its own kind of strength, and one day, the same person they underestimated will finally realize their value without needing anyone's approval. To the person watching this, you were not weak for being hurt. You were human, and even if your own family failed to give you the love you deserved, you can still rebuild yourself. Slowly, quietly, painfully, powerfully, and one day, your peace will become louder than everything they ever said about you.